My name is Jaclynn, and this is Chris.
Chris.
We got married on April 24th of 2021, and our reception was at the Auburn Hills Marriott of Pontiac. We were not concerned at all. Absolutely had nothing to be worried about. All the communication leading up to the wedding was on par. You were there every step of the way. There were forms we filled out. You went over everything with us.
I mean, it was carefree. I didn't have to worry about one thing, and that was pretty much how it went through the whole night. So the first company we were at, they kind of brought us into a warehouse type feature, and they kind of showed us. But after we kind of sat with them and we were kind of looking at other DJs and then went over to them, they brought us in, and then they started kind of selling us on their other DJs and kind of like what it was. And we kind of got lost in what they were trying to show us. They were trying to show fancy lights and all this stuff, and really not the commonality or the relationship you're going to have with your actual DJ and kind of how they're going to talk during the wedding. And then when we met with you met us in person. I mean, we had a great just us with you, and you didn't necessarily jump into what do you guys want for the wedding, but more what kind of people are you and what type of relationships you have with your family. Exactly. So I would definitely put the 95%. Right?
We didn't have a day of coordinator, so you basically ran the entire night for us, which was absolutely awesome, and we totally appreciated that. It took a huge strain off of us that night.
Huge amount.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, the fact that I didn't have to really even look up and look at the DJ stand at all. Everything just flowed so nicely, and it kind of at the end of the night, I was like, wow, Chris. That convenience for me alone, and then the relationship we kind of had in that conversations before, there's no question. I mean, just the convenience and then knowing you have the relationship is worth the quality that you're going to get to not really have to worry about a day. That was very important for us. And I mean, going through everything in a pandemic, having to deal with it, I would have paid a lot more just to not deal with that stress.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we didn't have to come up to you once during the entire night to say, hey, don't forget about this or don't forget about that. I mean, you knew everything that needed to be done that night, and you topped it more than we ever could have asked for. You basically were our coordinator for the night, and I mean, if I would have known that even prior, we definitely would have paid a heck of a lot more. So
there was a moment that when I was looking over at my grandmother, I decided to take my grandmother, and there was a gap between me stop dancing with my mother and asking my grandmother to come on. And at any moment you could have stopped if you weren't in tune with what was going on. But you kept playing to where I was able to get my grandmother a dance there. And that was one of the greatest moments of my wedding as well.
Not as sentimental as like Chris's whole story, but when we had walked out for our grand entrance to Sky Full of Stars by Coldplay, and you had put the lights on of the stars up on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
And that was something we never talked about before, and so that was really cool that you ended up kind of like putting those two and two together.
And she mentioned that after the wedding too. She brought that to me, so that is now stuck in her memory forever.
Yeah, really cool.
I'll be honest, I didn't see him. I was so involved with walking in.
Absolutely, 100% over and over again.
I would definitely recommend Christopher London's DJ service.
Yes, book them now.